Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Rodan.
That's no way
And
for someone
today, as
so
you can see, I'm
brilliant,
still
that.
continuing my Disney movie marathon, where I'll be talking about the movies,
I don't
obviously,
remember seeing you
or
before.
their shows, or what
Welcome,
have you. If it's
stranger.
related to Disney in any shape or
Just because
form,
I
then
haven't
yes,
heard
of
of you
course, it's
yet,
going to be
doesn't mean you can't be thought
a
of
good
one day.
chance for me to talk about it. So, for today's video, I'm going to be talking about an animated superhero, or in this case, superhero animated movie. So, yeah, Rising Secret Warriors. It's the one I've been talking about. I just figured I'd do this because I've spoken about quite a few themed comic book before, movies, whatever. I guess this is an American made for television animated superheroes, or superhero, I should say, was produced by Marvel Animation. It is the first animated feature of the Marvel's Rising franchise. This was a TV show, I believe. I remember at first, I suppose, and it features several superheroines and they pretty much have to do their thing. Obviously, as they're against this threat or whatever, they have to do their thing. So I did speak about the other Marvel properties already when it comes to like the shorts or what have you. So just well, talk about it again right here. So it's not gonna hurt nobody, I suppose. I review quite a few of this stuff anyway. So anyway, of course, like always, let's just get into the plot, shall we? So here we go. Oh yeah. So yeah, pretty much there's this group of characters, and obviously one of which pretty much analyzes Captain Marvel, which is a character I mentioned before. I just despise. Really, I don't like Captain Marvel. But anyway, that aside. Anyway, yeah, this teenage character who lives in New Jersey City, and she's also this inhuman, of course, with shape-shifting abilities, and she lives a secret life as a super heroine, Miss Marvel. But the thing is that she clashes with her mother, who believes her interest in superhero stuff is just time wasting. And yes, of course, there's gonna be a bit of human conflict, drama, kind of a thing, or just drama in general, I guess, some kind of way. Aside from the superhero stuff, I
You a
suppose.
visitor to
But
these
anyway,
parts?
she has yet to overcome all the
I
unfortunate
don't
difficulties
recognize
for
you.
being a rookie
Huge
superhero, I
difference.
suppose. Yeah, that comes into play.
I'm
And yes,
looking for
obviously,
someone funny.
we
Seen
get
anyone
to
fitting that description?
get introduced with several of the
These
other characters
nice,
as well
strange
because they have
folk
to team up.
always
Because, like I was saying earlier,
doing
there's
their
like a big
rituals.
threat kind of a thing that has to be dealt with,
Hey, it's you.
obviously. So there's that. So ultimately,
Same to
what's
you,
going on here is
sweetheart.
that these characters have to team up, and of
Sorry,
course, all these
I am
characters
rude.
will have their own abilities. And yes, this has something to do with that organization, Shield, of course. That has something to do with
Who you
that kind
are?
of thing. And yes, there's been people that's been
Ooh,
tracking down
yeah.
these violent
Woo!
things, these events has been involving in humans. So the agents leave, and they have to do
Oh,
their
how
thing, of course.
marvelous.
So yeah, there's not a whole lot of peaceful stuff going on, obviously. Of course, yes, there has to be some kind of conflict. There has to be something going on here, so that the characters can go out and do their thing, and we will see that they will use their abilities, and that's what's going on here.
Why would you make it
And
so
Staring
ultimately,
at
these
you with
characters
that
will have to
tickling of the
team up
thigh.
to take care of this bad thing being whatever it's supposed to be. So there's that. And yeah, that comes
Scent
into
of the
play
earth he is.
when you think about it. So
He's
I guess
just so dreamy.
this character pretty much teams up with this group here, bringing together the newest, most beloved characters I've gathered
Ah,
for
it is the Lord of the
this
Land.
kind of a
That's what
thing.
landlord
So
means,
yeah,
right?
there's that. Yes, these characters
I
are
like
relatively
this.
young, as you might expect, of course, because they're
Those shoes
basically
are just
this crew of
gorgeous.
super
I'm
aspiring
sure people will
superhero
start
type characters.
recognizing you soon.
So when a threat
Just
that
keep
no one
practicing
could
with
have
the
expected
fans.
bears down on this, let's just say that this ragtag team has been gathered. This band of teenagers have no choice but to rise together to pretty much fight. And this is actually on Disney Plus, by the way, in case anyone's wondering. It is on Disney Plus right now, in case you want to see it. But anyway, as I was saying, this is your pretty much your typical. superhero type story where the characters have to join forces because this threat is really strong, is really powerful. Therefore, as a result, they have to pretty much take care of the bad thing. This bad thing is obviously up to no good. Therefore,
The
this said
time
bad thing has
is
to be dealt with.
very
Excuse
late.
me if I'm being a little vague here. I don't want to spoil anything really. But ultimately, that's the idea here, what they're trying to
Lights
do,
out.
of course, and take care of whoever needs to be dealt with, obviously. And yes, we get to see Squirrel Girl, whom I'm vaguely a bit familiar with. Not a whole lot, but I did see a lot of the comic book art of this character. Quite a bit of it is actually pretty good, actually. I like a lot of her design in a lot of these comics. Of course, the quality of the artwork will change from comic to comic, of course. But I like her design in a lot of these comics that she has appeared in. So I do like her overall design, her personality, and she's very strong, of course. I really like that. It's just that in the animated movie, she looks like shit. Seems kind of weird that this show actually looks a lot better compared to that one movie. You think it'd be the other way around because it's a movie. So I don't know. It just seems kind of weird that this looks a lot more accurate, really, to what this is supposed to be based upon or whatever. So there's that. I guess that's just my little pick at it, I suppose. If I have to say anything about this, so maybe it's more of a me thing, I guess. But it's just not like the characters look kind of weird in the movie, if you ask me, folks, because it's like they're trying to save time and just trying to make sure they meet a deadline. Because when it comes to making movies or shows, of course you have to meet a deadline. So obviously, as less detailed something is, the less time it'll take. And the more detailed it is, the more time it'll be really consuming. I guess you can say, in other words. I don't know. It just feels like half-assed in some ways in terms of animation. And the art style is just like the art style looks half-assed, but the animation's fine, I suppose. So there's that. Oh boy, that's just wow. Okay, that's different. I don't know. Maybe it's just me nitpicking that, but it's not just pointed out. Squirrel Girl is there, obviously. She's part of this team that she will help out to take care of the bad people, whoever this may be, obviously. So there's that. Things do get pretty crazy, as you might expect, of course. I mean, there are other characters that do appear here, of course. But if you're a fan of the Marvel movies to begin with, then I would definitely say give this a chance, of course. If you want to watch this, I suppose. If this is your cup of tea, obviously. This movie did open with generally positive reviews, of course. And the film premiered on September 13th of 2018. So there was that. Also, of course, on Disney XD and Disney Channel. It received generally positive reviews from critics, just so you know, putting that out there. But altogether, the people who were pleased with this, so that should count for something, right? Of course, I would say yes. And this definitely is it's one to have emphasis on diversity and representation, I suppose. As this film brings together a cast of characters from different backgrounds and, of course, cultures, each of their own perspective and identities. The diversity is reflected in the film's cast and its themes, which focus on the importance of friendship, teamwork, and using each other's superpowers for the greater good, which was ultimately the entire point anyway. So in that sense, yes, I can definitely say that there's some
Lovely.
wholesomeness about that when it comes to this kind of thing, when it comes to these characters, just watching them aspire to the greatness of their more experienced counterparts, I suppose. Because when you think about it, you can't only use like Captain America or Iron Man or any other character. You can only be using them for so long, of course. At some point, you have to move on, of course, from that. Eventually, you have to go on and do something else and use other characters because it'll get boring. When you think about it, it kind of reminds you of Star Wars in that sense. You're gonna have to expand upon and use different characters after a good while. But but you can't just use specific characters indefinitely, because realistically speaking, when it comes to storytelling, I mean, I guess you could if you want, but after a while, it would just get boring. Realistically speaking, it's just the whole nostalgia bit is what I'm referring to. Just going back to a specific time period where everything was much better apparently, and just that people won't let it go because these are fond memories and these periods of time were so perfect or whatever. Just come on, people. Let sort of franchises expand, and that's the thing. A lot of people just won't let franchises expand. And yes, the Marvel expanded universe is already old enough to be nostalgic. Oh boy, because the first Iron Man movie came out like quite a while ago, the early 2000s, I believe, something like that. But well, at least in the early 2010s, if not the early 2000s, at least in the 2010s anyway. So yeah, the expanded universe of Marvel is already old enough to be nostalgic. So that's what I'm getting at. Let this series grow, I suppose. But a lot of people won't allow it because they complain, oh, with the female characters being the center focus and whatnot. So a lot of people didn't like that fact that women can be the center focus of all this kind of a thing, and the fact that there's showing diversity and somehow that makes it bad, which doesn't make any sense because this series of comics that this is supposed to be based upon was always political to begin with. So it just reminds me of Star Wars all over again. People keep saying that Star Wars is too political now, even though it was always political. Oh, Marvel is political now, even though the comics themselves were already political. Alright. It's a slight rant over, I guess. As for this movie, I thought it was fine. I really don't have no real issues with it aside from the art style. The animation is smooth, like I was saying. The voice acting wasn't too bad. The action sequences were nicely done. And the film is evenly paced. There was not once I felt like it felt rushed or felt that it too dragged out too much. I never got the vibe from this. I thought it was fine. So, if this sounds something you could watch, let's give it a shot, I suppose. Like I said, I've seen this on Disney Plus a little while ago. It just took me a while to get to it. So again and again, this is one of these things I've been meaning to do. It just took me a while to get to. That's all. I would have reviewed this a long time ago, but I just got quite a few things got in the way, so I just got caught up with different things. That's all. So it's just one of those things. Like I was saying, it just took me a while to talk about this. That's all. Anyway, even though I was never really into comic superhero stuff, it's still not my cup of tea, really. But it's fine, I suppose. It's fine. So I'll just give this an overall rating of a 7.0. I think it's a 7.0 for me. So of course, as always, thanks for watching and take care. Until next time, see ya. Oh yeah, later. Oh yeah, just more crazy stuff to talk about. Oh, definitely. Anyway, later.